He went to grab his hot dog.
Donie!
Top of the morning.
As a delegate, is he allowed to say what he thought?
Yeah, okay. Why not? Why wouldn't he be? It's already in the past. What is going on with this, bro? Chicago put some crazy shit on their dogs.
This is great. I mean, I'm not gonna eat the pickle, but I'm gonna eat the rest of it.
You gotta eat the pickle, my man.
I don't like pickles.
You're disrespecting Chicago if you don't eat the pickle.
I'll eat the pickle. I'll do it for you.
Okay, this is a Colorado delegate, and we're talking to him about being enthusiastic about Biden until the last moment.
Yeah.
And whether or not he appreciated my commentary shitting on Biden. Saying he needs to drop out, but I don't know.
I was gonna say.
This is CNN, by the way.
Hey, it's nice to meet you guys.
How you doing?
I'm Kenny. Jesus. Pleasure. Nice to meet you, man.
Kenny from Colorado.
Yeah, Kenny from Colorado.
Super.
He is, I think, the most enthusiastic person I've seen so far.
I love being here. This is awesome. Thanks, dude. I was gonna say to all my friends, you know, I'm a millennial. A lot of my friends are Zoomers.
That's about to fall on the. You gotta rip that. Yep, there you go.
Gotcha, man.
All right.
They're all Democrats, independents, and a lot of folks want Biden to drop out.
Yeah.
Obviously, Gaza, that's a big one. And I understand that. But the other side is literally like fascism.
Yeah, no, I think people understand that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, myself included, were making the argument that like Biden's chances of defeating Donald Trump are significantly worse than anyone else.
Yeah.
Which is why Biden should drop out, was the argument that a lot of people were making. Like Nancy, but what do you think about Nancy Pelosi?
I mean, she's the biggest, she's an influential Democrat, obviously, and obviously her husband's the best day trader of all time. I you know, I'm just saying. But,
Put some respect. Put some respect on Paul Pelosi.
But I think she's inspiring, and the fact that she's been so involved since like JFK is pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's my goat. She really pulled through.
Yeah.
She pulled through with that socialist coup with Kamala Harris. Anyway, you like Kamala. You're excited.
I am excited.
I'm thrilled as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't be more excited.
It's like a breath of fresh air.
No, 100%.
Obviously, I grew up in 2008 and 12 with Obama. My first election was 2012 with Barack Obama.
Is that the first one you voted in?
Yeah, first one.
Same.
I'm young. I'm youngish.
Yeah.
But, I'm rooting for her. I'm excited for her.
Okay, hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
All right, thanks for that. Thanks for that feedback.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Hey, nice to meet you.
I assume by the last day you're just gonna be covered in buttons.
I will be covered in buttons.
Wait, there's a really good. Did you see the Kamala Harris union pin?
No, I'm not.
Okay, well, if you see it, it's great. I have one.
Please.
Stop trying to fucking improve your lib status here.
Okay.
He's trying to flex on you.
You guys are awesome. Big
Hey,
fan again.
nice
to meet you, man.
And sorry, Doug, right?
Austin.
Austin, I'm
Nice
so
to meet
sorry.
you.
You're not Doug.
No, it's
No, it's all
okay.
good.
I look like a Doug.
No, you're not.
Okay.
His name is Austin.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Donnie, this is my podcast co-host.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, how are you doing?
Nice to meet you.
And-
Pleasure.
and-
Donie with CNN?
Yeah, that's right.
It's a
Gay
pleasure.
diversity hire. pick,
Yeah, absolutely.
Austin
Yep.
show.
Yep.
How's your DNC been going?
We just got yelled at by Elizabeth Warren staffer in the rudest way I've ever been talked to as a 33-year-old man. But other than that,
Why? What's she?
oh, they were just like clearing the room. They were like, "You need to leave right now."
Yes,
I was
sir.
like, "Can I take a piss?" She's like, "No, no, you need to get out right now."
I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much.
Drinks
Drinks and stuff in here, too?
He's like a
Drinks and stuff in here? Oh, gotcha. Perfect. Thank you. Take care. Yeah, thank
running
you.
around debating people. Mike Lindell's in here, my pillow guy.
Dude, have you
Wait,
seen
Pillow
him yet?
Guy's here?
Yeah, Michael Pillow's
No
here.
way.
Michael
He has
Pillow.
no mustache.
Oh, he actually shaved it? Oh my God, we have to find him. I want to see Matt Walsh and I want to see Michael Pillow. Well, I don't really want to see Matt Walsh. He's so gross. But at least like Michael Pillow is like fun.
Did they let them in just to play with them?
I'm not sure what's going on. Yeah, I don't really know what's going on. We might
What's up?
follow you guys for a while.
Sure.
We're not here.
Yeah, no worries.
Nice to meet you.
My brother's a bigger fan.
Okay.
I mean, you've got him full lefty build. He's hating on me for being out here, but I was like, dude, I got it.
No, I mean, I'm out here too. You want to take a photo?
I would love to take a photo.
Yeah.
You got him in the gym like an animal. I need you to tell him he looks
Oh,
small.
really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
He's
hell
big
yeah.
as hell. But I need you to like tell him that he looks small
Do you
as
think
shit.
I was Hassan for a minute?
I did.
Yeah.
I know.
We get mistaken a lot.
We keep getting.
Yeah.
All right,
I'd
let's
love to
do
take
it.
a picture of
Oh,
that.
really?
Yeah,
Oh,
of course.
awesome. Nice to see you.
Take a quick photo.
Absolutely. No worries. Not a problem.
appreciate it. I
Let's do
appreciate
it.
it.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do
Oh
it.
yeah.
Appreciate you.
You guys want one
Oh,
ticket
we
all
got
together?
the food. Let's go.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, let's do it.
do you want me to mic up or
Okay,
no?
here we go.
You gonna talk to more people?
We might, yeah.
You gonna mic him up?
Sure.
I can't believe you're just booming
Here, you want me to
around,
get in the
dude.
middle here? Okay,
Look at
perfect.
you.
Let's do it.
What? Oh, you want to?
Dude, today we have the same, like,
Okay, yeah. Awesome.
we are closer to the stage than
That was
CNN
so
is.
cute.
Just
Nice to
saying.
meet you. Remind me of your name.
Just saying.
Katie,
Well,
nice to meet you. Such a pleasure.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Same
Alexander.
balcony as
Enjoy your
CNN.
time. Yes, and enjoy the speeches
Yeah,
tonight.
yeah, yeah. We figured it out
Yes,
quickly
awesome.
this time.
Oh yeah, you want to see his?
How has been the? Did you go to
Oh,
any
shit.
of the parties last
Okay,
night? Or
yeah.
anything like that?
No, you're good.
Nope. I'm an old man, and I've been running around the whole day, so I was just like, I'm so tired.
So what's the plan? That you guys are going back to the spot, or what are you roaming around for?
So we're gonna roam around. I'm gonna try to link up with a couple people that I haven't been able to see yet. Hopefully have them on the stream. And we're gonna eat first. So there's gonna be a sit-down portion here.
Beautiful.
We just ordered a shit ton of protein. I'm very excited about it. I have not had enough protein since I've been out here. It's lacking. I know you
Big
care
boys
about
like
that.
me and you, we need to really,
Yeah.
to stay built the way we are.
Yeah.
You know.
No, exactly.
To sustain all of this, to sustain these pecs.
I didn't even need to tell you about the lack of protein. I'm sure you've suffered as well.
Protein at all the times.
Yeah.
All right, I'll let you guys sit.
All right. Wait, do you want to do like a
Maybe we just sit and talk.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Are you guys happy with this?
Yeah, right? Yeah. So will I sit across from you?
Oh! No, Marge!
Did you get a sandwich, Marsh?
I got one. I got a banh mi,
Sandwich.
and I got a big
Marsh
boy
got a sandwich
with a double prot.
And then there's a beef bowl with an egg. And then there's another beef bowl with an egg. Wait, Hassan, I think that's mine. Is that chicken?
Oh yeah, ground chicken.
Yes, that's you. And then Diet Coke.
What are you?
Diet Coke, Diet Coke.
They gave us utensils, right?
Yep.
These are Irish politicians.
Hey,
how
you think
are
I
ya?
can't tell?
Nice to meet you. Pleasure.
What's going on?
We saw Donie. We told you to come over and say hello.
Of course.
Absolutely.
What's happening, Hassan?
Switch right away.
Austin, nice to meet you. Pleasure.
We're live. Anyway, good seeing you.
You didn't have to tell me that they were Irish
You
politicians.
might have thought that they were maybe from the deep south, you know.
Yeah. They were wearing it on their face.
So, has this been going? Today's been going better than yesterday.
Yeah.
Setup-wise and everything.
Yeah, they gave us a better spot this time, but also at the same time, like the better spot comes with, I guess, more chaos in terms of like having to move around a little bit. Like, I think it stems. No, what are we doing?
I'm making sure it's the right one.
Oh, wait, we got the same thing.
No, I got a Korean one. You got
Oh, okay, I got the Vietnamese.
So grab it.
Oh.
This is incredible.
That looks good.
All right, let's
Which
see.
truck is it from? The orange one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Get my mukbang going for CNN.
Guys, I'm been a bit beat with this convention.
Yeah. There you go.
Do you want to swap mics while you eat?
Uh-huh.
Because they're going to be talking.
Oh yeah, sure.
It's gonna reset. You go a little lower if you want.
It's fine.
That's good.
Next on it?
I eat on camera all the time. So
this
people,
one?
yo,
Sure, yeah.
you want to get that water out of the way? It's probably in the shot.
Or do you want to put it?
I got you. Okay, let's go.
Very
That way the
nice.
stream can hear you.
Yeah.
I'll just put this little side pocket here.
Yeah.
You don't leave.
I'm a bit nervous about being live on your Twitch right now.
Wait, why? There's only like
I don't know.
There's only like 50,000 people watching.
This is my first time on Twitch and in person. Yeah.
Why did I think that you'd been on it?
Well, just because he's
I watch this shit all the time.
and he does such a great Irish accent. Ireland.
Right, I love it.
Ireland.
I wanted to bust it out for your Irish politician friends, but I didn't.
I think he said it. They got the second I said, "Oh, we're streaming live on Twitch," they're like, "Oh, right." So So yeah, apparently the Irish politicians are here to observe.
That's so funny.
Yeah. They will be observing a pint of Guinness in about 20 minutes.
They're like the Carter Institute. They're trying to make sure
coming in.
that the process is up to par with standards, international standards.
Well, we joke, but might need that in this country at some point. So I think. So yeah, Mike Lindell snuck in with he shaved off his mustache.
Yeah, he said he was going to do it. I didn't believe he would do it, but man, that dude is committed, man.
Mine's like a 2.
Very committed to the base.
Is already 2? Yeah. It's fine. I'll do it solo.
So I wanted to ask.
That's bomb.
We were chatting about yesterday as I think Patti LaBelle was doing her sound check. But when it comes to one thing I'm looking at for this doc we're doing is like the guys who have gone from Bernie all the way now to far right, Trump, whatever you want to call it. Why do you think that happens? Or do you just think that is men who just would always want to go to the fringes anyway, or do you think it's a sign of something more fundamental in politics?
I think the boundaries in our duopoly are completely on culture war issues. It is oftentimes those who are not necessarily committed to a materialist framework in understanding history, in understanding politics in general, that then catch themselves in the throes of right-wing radicalization because because those are issues that are top of mind for them. That's exactly what happens like with the likes of Jackson Hinkle, where like the other day he tweeted out China has banned transgenders from TV. Now that's really funny that he's saying that, because he's saying that it's a pro-China thing, right? Because in his mind that's like pro-China. Oh, they're anti-trans.
Right, yeah.
The most famous Chinese woman in Chinese television is a trans woman. Very open about being trans as well. I mean, she's obviously a party loyalist and whatnot, but like she is a trans woman. So what he's saying is objectively incorrect. But why does he say it? Because he thinks like there's this global culture war focused right-wing momentum everywhere around the planet, including in China, in a place like China. It is really interesting that he rarely ever talks about Cuba, though, because Cuba is like very socially progressive in comparison to the United States. So, I don't know. I think he just misses the mark because he's very desperate to cut this propaganda that like everywhere else, like people only care about LGBT rights and abortion and these sorts of things, because it's like American propaganda, social media, and American liberal media has like brainwashed people. But I think most people want more civil liberties no matter what, and behaving as a consistent repressive force against that sort of thing is antithetical to any sort of like left-wing movement. So those guys aren't left-wing at all.
Yeah. I'll let you take bites of your sandwich as well.
Go ahead. Ask me the question.
So you really started going solo on Twitch in a big way in 2020, right? So fast forward to the Russian invasion of Ukraine. How did that play out in your community, among your audience?
In the lead up to Russia invading Ukraine, I very consistently said it's not going to happen, as I told you yesterday. I was like, there's no way. I thought it was a complete, like, non-starter, and I thought the State Department was being hysterical in an effort to drum up, like, some kind of pro-State Department propaganda and try to, like, spark the tensions of saber rattling against our foreign adversary. And I also thought that it just made no sense tactically for Vladimir Putin to engage in such an action, because it would be devastating for Russia regardless. Now, that is true. That has happened, right? It's not like Russia is doing great. Contrary to what many people who are pro-Russian, pro Vladimir Putin have to say, they're not having a fantastic time with it either. Hundreds of thousands of people are dead. Entire cities collapsed. The Russian economy is...
Yeah. Are you good?
The Russian economy itself is like a complete war economy at this point, right? They've been able to weather the storm of the American sanctions regime, but they're not doing great. They would be doing much better if they kept maintaining like at least some level of peaceful trade with their European partners, rather than having to commit that trade through like India or other subsidiaries. That was my analysis at the time, and I was wrong. They did invade, obviously, and I apologized for getting it wrong, my prediction being wrong. But at the time, there were a lot of people who were like, I told you, like, you were wrong. The American State Department was right. Like, why wouldn't you believe them? And I kept saying, like, why would I believe them? They don't have exactly an infallible track record. If you look at what's going on in Israel, they're wrong every day. And not only are they consistently wrong, but they're deliberately wrong. They're deliberately wrong in an effort to cut propaganda for the Israeli state that is so obviously wrong that... What happened? Are you still mic'd up?
No, it's on Donie.
Okay.
Just got really intense for him.
No.
Yeah.
Just got very intense and emotional.
Yeah, he's a big Israel supporter. I'm just kidding. I'm always going to be skeptical of state resources, whether it be the Russian state, or whether it be the Chinese state, or whether it be the American state, because I understand that there's a direct bias there in terms of like what their foreign policy goals are. So that hasn't changed my calculation at all. But for a lot of people, they were like, "No, this is it. Like, you're a Russian agent."
Yeah.
They were, in some respects, very primed to believe that like there's this secondary cynical notion as to why I must be saying these things, and it can't be because I'm like reading exactly what I'm seeing. But
you could understand what I mean. There are a lot of people in this space, prominent people, who there are a lot of suspicions that they're doing the bidding for somebody else. I mean, I've asked Jackson Hinkle that directly.
What did he say?
He said he's doing it all off. He's traveling all off his own dime, etc., etc.
I don't know. I don't know who's funding him. Like, I don't think he has like a big enough Patreon to fund all of his endeavors. I genuinely don't know. But having said that, for me, my finances are pretty they're pretty transparent, you know.
So you watch a good bit of my stuff. Thank you very much. It's good to have somebody watching. Please keep that up. I spend a lot of my time talking to Trump supporters, trying to understand the rabbit holes people go down, why they go down them. Obviously, on your stream, you have a bit of fun with it sometimes. I think you also refer sometimes to Trump supporters as hogs.
Yeah.
But you must feel some empathy at times, some sympathy.
Oh yeah.
When you see how far down, whether it's QAnon or even election denialism, whatever it is, that some people genuinely are. Some people genuinely believe this stuff.
Absolutely. I abide by the principles that Michael Jamal Brooks, rest in power, good friend of mine who passed away a couple years ago, brilliant commentator. He was on the Majority Report.
Yeah.
I abide by those principles that he so perfectly and eloquently put. Be kind to individuals, but be ruthless to systems. And while I like to have my bit of fun, making jokes at the expense of people who are inherently like and overtly antagonistic to people due to their inalienable traits and characteristics that they can't change about themselves, their bully behavior, I do ultimately still want to change the minds of people, and I want to change their minds. I want to make sure that they're not falling down this right-wing rabbit hole. So I do actively, as long as someone maintains like genuine interest and charitability, I will always talk to them. I will meet them at their level, and I will try to explain to them how certain things are and where they might have been led astray. So I like to have a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I don't necessarily fault individuals for going down this rabbit hole, because I understand that we're all, in some ways, victim to propaganda. We cannot escape propaganda. If it was something that was inescapable, it would not be a multi-billion-dollar industry. There would be no PR, there would be no marketing, right? It's obviously very effective. So I get that. And also I recognize that, especially our monoculture created by neoliberalism, I think neuters certain curiosities that people might have and very effectively dismantles any kind of counter narrative. Like, for example, I think that there's a lot of economic volatility in this country. There's a lot of instability. There's a lot of people who are suffering, right? I think Republicans take advantage of that suffering and very quickly address that anger and use that anger to their advantage. They redirect that anger to those who are, to populations who are marginalized, and they do that very effectively. Whereas I feel like liberalism has no counter to that. There's no real interest from one party to like adequately go, no, you're wrong. You're angry at your boss.
Why is that? Why aren't Democrats better at doing that?
I mean, because they're beholden to the same corporate masters and same capital interests that the Republicans are beholden to. But Republicans, on the other hand, can and do often very openly admit that they're pro-business, and they repackage their opinions in a pretty solid way. They propagandize it in a really successful way, and they change the narrative from it's your boss that's fucking you over, it's your boss that's not going to give you, your honest wage, your livable wage, to it's Mexicans stealing it from you. So they have a really solid way of using liberalism, good bad narratives, and these like spiritual, anti-materialist sentiment. They have a really good way of operating within that space and redirecting people's attentions away from the actual vectors of pain. The real oppression, the real struggle.
The more I hang out, I mean, it's been pretty interesting trying to dig into, as I've been doing this story, digging in on the far left. As I kind of said yesterday, so far left that you're meeting with the far right.
I don't think those guys are far left.
You just think they're straight up far right?
You can't be far left, and you can't be.
You can't go that direction as well.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way, right? Like the moment that you hyper focus on culture war issues, you've already lost the plot.
Right.
You are no different. Like, a lot of that comes from the resistance that people have towards liberalism. People hate liberals. They love saying that liberals suck. Everybody loves saying that. I say it all the time because they do to a certain degree. But it is still, at the end of the day, liberalism to hyper-focus on the other side of that coin on these groups of people that are just, trying to make an honest living in the same exact way that you are.
Yeah.
It's not like trans people are magical beings that have completely overcome the need for healthcare, or overcome the need to pay for rent, overcome the need to, work an honest wage or work an honest job. They have the exact same class interests that every other person has globally. You might be in Ireland, you might be in Zimbabwe, but ultimately every single person, or in the Appalachian Mountains, every single person still wants to put food on their table, a roof over their heads, and make an honest living, and have some nice things on the side, and have a little bit of autonomy and a sense of purpose in their lives. That's just like, that's globally the exact same interest that everybody has. So hyper focusing on these like minute differences, these marginal differences that people might have, whether it be their sexual choices, whether it be their lifestyle choices, is, I think, silly liberal shit. But on the other side of the liberal coin, which usually turns into fascism very quickly.
From Jimmy Dore had a live show here on Friday night. We were talking to some people who were in line for that, Alex Jones ended up being Jimmy's surprise guest. Hey, some people in line were not happy about that. Some were like, oh, well, let's hear what he wants to say. And some people straight up like Jones. But what everybody was saying, and I guess it's to be expected at a Jimmy Dore event, maybe the same, maybe among your audience too, is that people not happy with, obviously, the system as it is, the parties as it is. Maybe I'm putting myself into an echo chamber here, but the more and more I talk to folks, it seems that like the two-party system in the US might not sustain, might not be around in 50 years' time. Or you think the party machine just will plow through?
I think there is no real two-party system anyway. I think most governments have some kind of theoretical democracy that they try to aspire to work towards, but ultimately it always falls short. And there is always key aspects of governance that will fall in line with the bipartisan consensus. Foreign policy being an obvious one in the United States of America. So it's not necessarily a byproduct of the duopoly here, but it's more so the reality that the Democratic Party is not responsive to the needs of the people. Because the Republican Party has figured out their own method. They're actually flailing in a different direction now because they've become too successful, and they're experiencing their own problems in that sort. Because now you have all these crazy people that are embedded in the party that just want increasingly more and more violence and subjugation, humiliation to their ideological enemies. LGBT, whatever, like people that they consider morally degenerate, right? But I think that it's not necessarily the duopoly failing, because ultimately it doesn't really matter. You can have a one party, you can have a single party form of governance and still be responsive to the needs of the people in a different way. You can have a duopoly like in the United States of America.
You don't think American democracy, or at least the representation people get, would be greatly enhanced by having a multi-party system?
Oh no, it would.
Because that could then apply pressure on the more centrist side of the Democratic Party, no?
It would. However, there are parliamentary systems all around the world. They still have to create coalitions.
Yeah.
And they still also run into the same exact gridlock problems that the American duopoly runs into as well. That's the point I'm trying to make. You have to have people, you have to have genuine pressure from the public, and you have to have politicians that are responsive to the demands being made by the people, as long as they're reasonable demands. And when you don't have that, you're just basically playing a song and dance, and you keep recycling the same old harm reduction propaganda every 4 years, as the Republicans desperately campaign, not every 4 years, but every single day, up until that very moment where the election is happening, where they try to build the solid foundation and the groundwork to capture the attention of enough people and have them be invested in this false framework, whether it be like immigrants are coming to steal your jobs, or whether it be immigrants are coming to steal your daughter and rape her and kill her. They're always on. They're always propagandizing these positions. Democrats don't really do that, and they basically rely on, unfortunately, the notion that like inevitably the reasonable people will engage in defensive voting and will vote against the Republican Party because they've gotten completely out of control. All the while, when they do get into power, they run scared and refuse to unwind the right-wing initiatives taken by the former Republican Party that you ousted. I think Joe Biden's agenda on immigration and his change on immigration from 2020 to 2024 is a perfect demonstration of this. He ran on this, dare I say, bold, radical, anti-Trump's immigration policies, anti-border wall agenda. He was actually close to Donald Trump, much closer to Donald Trump in approval ratings on immigration than he was by the time he was forced out of the race. Why was he so much closer? Because he actually was meeting with a counter message. At the time, there was plenty of counter messaging from the media because the media was resistant to Donald Trump. Donald Trump was doing awful things like child separation as a deterrence mechanism that's like unheard of. It's Hitlerian shit, right? And the Democrats took advantage of that, and they said, we are going to do things. We're going to unroll all of this stuff. And then in the first 100 days of Biden's agenda, his administration, he was going to put forward a pathway to amnesty. Like, he was going to offer conditional amnesty to citizens and all of this stuff. And he didn't really do any of that. And he also, now, by the end of his 4-year tenure, turned around and was pushing for a right-wing immigration bill. A right-wing immigration bill that a right-winger wrote entirely, which didn't even have concessions for the Democrats, really, which is kind of crazy to me, because normally, at least under the Obama administration, the Democrats would do a push and pull. They'd be like, okay, we're going to deport a lot of migrants, but then we're going to do DACA, right? And then
you're saying there was a total capitulation here.
There was complete capitulation on two fronts. On the messaging front, which I think is really bad, and there was a capitulation on the legislative front, which is even worse, because then you're normalizing the position that the Republicans have, which is that immigration is no longer about the economy, but is actually a matter of national security. Americans, for all of their faults and failures, historically, have done a lot of atrocities, but when it comes to immigration, every American kind of understands, like, we are a nation of immigrants. Like, they do. They might, unless they're like completely white supremacists and like a Tucker Carlson fan or whatever, and even Tucker Carlson, I think, will agree to this to a certain degree, that this is a nation comprised of immigrants. We all came here. Our parents all came here. That's what makes America great. And it literally does make America overcome some of these other issues that other developed nations have in terms of their population not growing, their population remaining old, getting really old.
Yeah.
You know, immigrants have been able to help America overcome that problem. And we don't even consider that. Having said that, I think turning the conversation away from immigration being a matter of the economy to a matter of national security is really scary for two reasons. One, because obviously Hitlerian policy, but two, it's a complete falsehood. This is not reality at all. There is no empirical basis for this opinion. This is just simply right-wing hysteria through and through. All matter evidence shows that undocumented migrants are responsible for less crime per capita than natural-born U.S. citizens. So how the fuck are Democrats just not saying that all the time? How the fuck have they not said that for the past 4 years, when you knew that
they're up against these images, right, of so-called caravans.
Anecdotes. Racist anecdotes.
But they haven't found a way to counter that.
They have just never countered it. That's the problem. They completely gave ground on that front. And they do it all the time. They do that with the crime panic. They just let these things subside eventually. Or worse, sometimes they just take ownership over right-wing policies. Like Bill Clinton did this too in the 90s, like with the crime panic. You mentioned there about Hinkle putting out a possible misinformation about trans people in China. I haven't seen that myself, but I'll have to take a look. A lot of people are getting their news from you, not from people like me. Yeah.
But you've been pretty transparent about times you've messed up or whatever, and saying, right, correct you. But what responsibility do you feel you have when you are? Because sometimes you're just scrolling, right, or you're coming across stuff and you're learning stuff in real time.
Yeah.
I have the benefit of, we tape stuff, we go back and research it, etc., try to get it right.
Yeah.
You're in a tough spot when it comes to consuming and also basically publishing information in real time. How much do you think about that?
All the time.
This could be Mike Lindell calling me.
It weighs on my conscience heavily.
Oh, Jackson Hinkle. Jackson Hinkle, I guess,
He's
is
probably watching.
Yeah. Do you want to talk to him?
Not really. I have a very different policy than you do in terms of giving clout to people.
Yeah. Tell me about that.
I think that as long as someone is not representative of like a broad movement and not genuinely harmful in terms of like their audience, like the size of their audience, I most likely will not take the time out to openly combat them and openly even talk about them. The reason why I don't do that is because I fear that
You're
giving
feeding
them,
fire.
you're giving them a larger platform.
So you think maybe what I did with the My Pillow guy was wrong?
No, because Mike Lindell is relatively harmless, all things considered, and I don't think he represents a broad constituency, and neither does Jackson Hinkle. But like, he's relatively harmless in comparison to, I don't know, like an Alex Jones even, or a Nicholas Fuentes. That is to say that I don't always refuse to talk about or to these people. Once they reach a certain barrier and they start getting mainstream recognition, then I feel like it's misinformation that must be dealt with. And,
So when it comes to Hinkle, I mean, he's got whatever, 3-4 million followers.
But that doesn't mean anything.
You think that's just bullshit?
No.
Do you think I'm making a mistake telling a story about Jackson Hinkle?
Is it just a story about Jackson Hinkle?
Well, no, we're looking, I guess, more at going from the far, going from the far left to the far right.
I just don't think Jackson Hinkle is far left in general. I will say this. There are a lot of people that work for the American Enterprise Institute, that work for FDD, and all these other neoliberal institutions that are on the payroll of the American government, or at least working at the behest of the American military-industrial complex, that say a metric ton of propaganda that is never considered propaganda in that same vein as what Jackson Hinkle is doing. He happens to do it for America's foreign adversaries, so of course everyone immediately reacts and goes, oh, that's an agent. Now, I don't even know what his background is in terms of like if he's getting funded by foreign governments or whatnot. But I do see them in the same vein. Like, I don't see Jackson Hinkle in a way that is any different than like a dude working at the American Enterprise Institute that's like consistently talking about how America has to nuke Iran. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, I would say that given his allegiances to countries that have less power than the United States of America, his overarching like footprint on the world is nowhere near as damaging as someone who is willingly a participant in American imperialism. That's also the other reason why I don't really talk about him.
Right. Okay. Well, I hear you.
He also loves clout too much. That's why he's fucking calling you nonstop.
He is calling, yeah. He wants to talk to you, but if you don't want to talk to him, we're on your stream, so we don't gotta do it. Tell me more about, as somebody who's watched a good deal of my reporting through the years, what is your feedback, your criticisms, your critique for me?
I don't know. I don't think you've done anything like that I consider to be like really bad. Like yesterday, I was watching, I believe, NBC, and there was a protest at the Israeli consulate. And this protest was conducted by an anti-imperialist group. And the NBC commentator immediately was like, well, these protesters, who are literally anti-genocide protesters, remember, were there to start trouble and were looking for violence. Like, that to me is a careerist shill that is like desperately trying to advance their career, and it's not even like remotely interested in looking at the situation and being like, cops are probably the ones who are being violent in this circumstance as I'm watching these images unfold.
Right.
And that these guys are anti-genocide protesters. There might be people in that group that have, like, I don't know, different opinions or whatever. But ultimately,
and I guess you're saying
you don't do that.
It's also a blanket statement. Again, I haven't seen this clip, but it sounds like it was a blanket statement about everybody in this crowd, right?
And also the fact that like it's done towards like BLM protesters a lot as well. When it wasn't like when Black Lives Matter was not seen as like a popular group.
Yeah.
People would regularly in mainstream media, when Barack Obama was like critical of Black Lives Matter, there were people in mainstream media that were also very critical of Black Lives Matter.
I mean, I will say I try to be pretty careful with that. Even when I was at the Capitol on January 6th, and we were live, I was talking back to the control room in my ear, and I was careful even to describe. Yeah, I was standing on the lawn at the Capitol. Not everybody who was on that lawn was a rioter or an insurrectionist, right? Some of them were actual peaceful protesters who kind of just went down to observe, to watch, found themselves in it. So, yeah, I would try and give a little bit of leeway on both sides when it comes to that. Obviously, people who are up the front, it's a different story.
It's not just that.
Something changed in the left during COVID.
Oh, yeah. Sean, socialist. Say hi to the Twitch audience, Sean.
Hi, Twitch.
Sean's a dad of two. Well, we think they're his kids. But anyway,
What did he say?
Sean's. Oh yes,
What's
hi
up?
there, yeah.
Can I get an autograph?
Sure.
You want the CNN autograph too or not?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Cool.
Bro, don't say CNN
No,
autograph.
it's totally fine. It's totally fine.
Say it's the
He
Donie.
probably thought you.
Here you go.
No.
Say it's a Donie O'Sullivan.
Yeah, man.
I just think CNN.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, so a lot of people have been coming up to you saying, "Oh, are you that Irish guy from CNN?" Right? That's been happening.
Literally nonstop.
Yeah. I'm sorry, man. Sorry about that.
What was the question that you were at?
Question was, obviously COVID changed, the world changed, but
Yeah.
a lot of the people, actually some of the people we spoke to who were, again, far left maybe, how big was the change during COVID when it comes to the left? And I hate to kind of just blanket that, but you know what I'm saying.
I can't speak for the
There was
entire left.
there was a radicalization on the right when it came to lockdowns, when it came to masks, right? Like that really activated something.
Yeah.
What about on the other side?
The American project hinges on being able to afford your treats. The moment that your access to your treats that are affordable are restricted, everything will fucking fall apart. Society collapses. Because then you're like, well, what the fuck am I doing this for? You know? I have a shit-ass job, no future prospects, barely can make payments, but at least I can go to Applebee's and get $5 jalapeno poppers,
Right.
okay? And hang out with the boys and slam a couple brews, watch some fucking football. COVID broke that a little bit. All of a sudden, everyone was like, well, okay, what's the whole purpose of this then? If I can't have my fucking treats. I think that was like the breaking point for a lot of people. Then also there's like the underlying unexamined and undisclosed genuine anxiety that people have in terms of like big pharma, right? Because like that's a very real and dare I say valid opinion to have, that you're like, what the fuck? Like we're putting a price on like curing people? That sounds insane. It sounds actually antagonistic to human nature, right? So a lot of people that have that resentment don't understand why they have that resentment. And right-wingers are so quick to be like, yeah, it's because they're turning you gay and autistic with vaccines. Big Pharma's bad because they turn you gay. And it's like, it breaks people's brains because they're so primed. They're so resentful, they're so angry for obvious, understandable reasons. And no one is like telling them, no, dude, it has nothing to do with like turning you gay. Like the COVID vaccines were literally billionaires were fucking skipping the line to get these goddamn vaccines, Rupert Murdoch included. Like, the reason why they wanted you all to be vaccinated is because you're cattle. You vaccinate your fucking cattle. Why? Because you don't want your cattle to die. They didn't want you fucking up the hospital system that was already, on its last leg in many parts of the country. And they wanted you to get back to work after 3 days rather than taking 3 weeks off because you're dying.
Do you think did you lose subscribers, fans? We hung out with a guy last week named Charm Hole. He'll be happy with the shout out on your stream. He used to love you, now he hates you. One of the big reasons he said was you were jamming, COVID restrictions, vaccines, masks, everything down his throat.
Wait, is Charm Hole a MAGA communist?
Yeah.
So he's pro-China.
I think he's pro-China. He's pretty pro-China, right? Yeah.
So what the fuck does he think about China's restrictions then?
But do you think did you lose people during COVID? Not
No.
in a meaningful way.
No. The only time I've meaningfully lost a big chunk of my audience throughout these years was Israel. October 7th.
Right. What about Ukraine and Russia? No.
No.
No. So you lost a lot of people because of your support for Gaza?
Yeah. They're back now because I'm at the DNC.
Interesting.
But a lot of people left.
But I mean, those folks would have known that you were pro-Palestine, right? All along, but it wasn't until it was in their face. Is that what?
Yeah.
Jackson Inkle really wants to talk to you.
Bro, that's precisely the reason why you don't talk to him.
So I'm gonna pick up after I chat to you, but just tell him you didn't want to chat.
No.
All right, you guys, I need to give our Sean and Co a break here. I might grab some coffee.
We need to run soon anyway because
Yeah.
open again.
Yeah.
But you might run into Mike Lindell.
I would love that. Also, remember, deeply unserious person.
You?
Well, I'm a deeply
You're a pretty
unserious
serious guy.
I'm a deeply unserious person too. No, I'm talking about Jackson.
Oh. So okay, I gotta do this. He says, ask him, okay, there's two questions, and I'll ask you these.
Okay, why are you being a vessel for this fucking demon?
Why didn't he condemn AOC for allowing $1 billion in taxpayer funding to pass for Israel's bombing campaign on Gaza called Operation Guardian of the Walls?
I love it. I love AOC and I love Israel. That's why.
Also, how am I begging for clout if I get banned everywhere but still have way more followers than him?
Fucking own. I have no answer to that.
You're not engaging. All right, that's it. I did my piece. Are you guys heading back in for the night's activities? You stoked to see Bill Clinton speak?
We'll be gone by then.
I won't be here.
Are you getting out of here by now?
I'm gonna be doing the True and On show, Chavo show.
Okay. Where's that?